Hello, my name is Betty Cross, and I am a science fiction and fantasy writer for the young adult / new adult market. And my reading today is going to be from a book that is not yet published. The first book in the trilogy is Discarded Faces. It's the only one published so far. The revolution that overthrows the evil government at the end of Book 1 later came to be known as the Insurgency and its veterans as the Insurgents. Second and third books of the trilogy are not yet published. The second is in my editor's inbox, and I'm still working on the third one. These two books are about the people of Denalo learning how to take advantage of and use the rights they have won. This period is often referred to as the Revolution or the Revolutionary Process. What I'm about to read is from the 25th chapter of the third book. There has been an election, but the results are not accepted by the losing side, and a civil war has broken out. One of the characters from the first book, Kanath Yakum, is now a general. She's only 22, so we can presume she's a bit precocious. A personal connection with the new prime minister probably helped her get where she is. Okay, I'm now beginning chapter 25. The 8th Infantry Division Strike Force was now on the move. The 1st Armored Regiment, a new unit, was in the vanguard. Kanath followed behind in her command car, driven this time by Gothi. Like most children born during the NPT days, Gothi didn't come from a family that owned a car, even though her father had been a long-haul trucker. She had learned to drive and gotten her license after the dictatorship fell, occasionally borrowing her sister's car. Her sister Zell reminded her of Pab. It made her sad to be completely out of touch with her sister, who told her everything she knew. She imagined her sister commanding a battalion of fighting women somewhere, or leading a group of elite commandos. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Kanath sat in the passenger seat and looked up from her computer screen. Reconnaissance squadron of 1st Armored has spotted a large enemy concentration, she announced. Fine, joked Gothi. We'll cut off their water. That won't work this time, said Kanath, smiling back. This will be a big tank battle. It will be completely different from the static fights we've had up till now. Gothi thinks, this campaign did seem a bit too easy. Maybe our luck has run out. Suddenly, Kanath's attention turned to something on her headset. Okay, I'll put it on my screen. Gothi, as the driver, wished she could look at the screen, but she had to keep her eyes on the road. Kanath said, to all regimental commanders in the 8th Division, from Commanding Officer 8th Division, I am forwarding this valuable piece of intelligence. She turned to Gothi and said, there's a huge enemy concentration out there, about equal in size to us. Its mission is clearly to drive us back. If they succeed, Army Number 3 will be able to escape encirclement. But if we drive them back, we have a chance to encircle Number 3, maybe even a part of the enemy Army Number 2, too. If we keep on surrounding the enemy like this, says Gothi, forcing a smile, this war is going to be over soon. Yes, Gothi, I think we could wrap up this travesty of a civil war very soon. A lot will depend on my command decisions in the next few hours. Gothi heard the welcome roar of helicopter engines in the distance. She thinks, we have control of the air. Why don't the Callan revolutionaries just give up? The tents of the headquarters were pitched at the foot of a ridgeline partitioned so that the enemy couldn't see it. Gothi remembered that this was the reverse slope in military circles. She looked up with anxious excitement as Kanath and her staff planned the battle. Has the 1st Armored disengaged from the enemy and fallen back yet? Kanath asked. Not raising her eyes from her screen, Sebastian said, yes. The enemy force is roughly the same size as ours, says Kanath. We had the advantage of the 3rd dimension. Kanath smiled. 2 helicopter regiments now, comrades. I almost wish there was a weapons officer on a chopper. It's the commander of the strike force. The operations chief leaned across the table. If we handle this just right, she said, we can develop the entire enemy force. Army Number 3? Kanath asked. No, the part of it we're facing now. I want to hear some details of your plan. The 2nd Armored Regiment is just down the road, said the operations chief. I suggest we deploy the rest of our forces in a single line. As the enemy presses forward, the center of the line gives way, but slowly, in orderly fashion. She made a sweeping and converging motion with both her hands, trapping an invisible army between them. On both flanks, we use our ground and tactical air access to drive their flanks back. Finally, the 2nd Armor comes in from behind and closes up on them like a cork in a bottle. Kanath laughed. I like it, said Sebastian. I sure hope we can do it. Biggest drawback is this, Knapp joked, accommodating tens of thousands of prisoners of war. Now, said Sebastian, there are plenty of ways a plan can go wrong, especially one as complicated as this one. For instance, you want to order the troops in the middle of the line to retreat under fire. It's one of the hardest things for an army to learn. I'll put the 36th militia in the center of the line, Knapp replied. I'll put the 36th militia in the center of the line, Knapp replied. They've had the most combat experience and probably under the most difficult conditions, too. They should be able to handle it. Besides, Narkidi Sprawn is now their colonel. I have complete confidence in her and them. I need to see a map of the area, she asked. The operations chief made a few clicks on her computer, and a holographic map of the area appeared over the table. Sebastian turned to the operations chief and said, "This will not work at all if they try to outflank us. We have to hope they'll charge right down the middle." "I want half the first armored at one end of the line and the other half at the other," said Knapp. "That way we can use the tanks to encircle the enemy or stop them outflanking us on either side. If they attack us right down the middle, they're trapped." Knapp grinned as if she couldn't wait. We need to decide who'll be put in reserve," the operations chief said. 2 battalions, both from the infantry, Knapp ordered. Select 2 different regiments to pull out the mount of. Also, I want the choppers to attack the advancing enemy from the air, slow them down any way they can. Leading elements of the 2nd Armored Regiment, announced the operations chief, are expected to arrive in 30 to 45 minutes. "Great news," Knapp smiled. "We'll keep them busy." Minute by minute, reports came in. The choppers firing their missiles managed to slow down the enemy advance some, but the enemy succeeded in striking the middle of the line, pushing back the 36th and 40th militia. Knapp remembered a maxim she'd learned at officer candidate school. Withdrawal under enemy fire is one of the most difficult maneuvers to execute successfully. The militia, now equipped with Joshua's, gave ground slowly. A half hour later, hearing the helicopter regiment was now in the rear refueling, she nervously bit her lip. Intently watching the hologram floating over the middle of the table, she saw the counter-revolutionary forces steadily advance, as if they formed a growing bulge in the line. Suddenly, Knapp startled. She heard a large explosion, uncomfortably close. "That's enemy artillery," said Sebastian. "They're getting closer. What are our chances of carrying out our original plan?" "It's still feasible, Comrade General, but the counters have a chance to break through the line. If that happens, suddenly we're in a different battle." "Wait, I've got a message coming in." He paused to listen for half a minute. It was Colonel Narkidi of the 36th. "She says they're hard-pressed." "Send one of those 2 reserve battalions to reinforce Narkidi," Knapp ordered. She had glanced at the laptop screen. "Also, unleash the armored forces on our 2 flanks. It's time to close the trap. And where are those choppers going to be refueled?" Sebastian looked at his laptop. "1 battalion of choppers is on its way back now. Another will be ready in about 5 minutes. The choppers will reinforce the tanks attacking on the enemy's flanks," Knapp ordered. Then she heard another artillery round. "It's closer than the last one, or is it?" she asked herself. "Is it just me?" she asked her staff, "or was it that last round closer than the previous one?" Pardon me, I need to change last to previous here. No, I'll finish until all the editing is done. "It seems so to me," said Comrade General, said Sebastian. Knapp slammed her fist on the table. "Commit both reserve battalions. Do it now. We are not going to allow our forces to be split in half." "And headquarters captured," Sebastian answered. Added, "No, of course not." "When is the 2nd Armored Regiment expected to arrive?" "In about 15 minutes, Sebastian replied. "Fine. That will be our reserve now." Sebastian hesitated, opening his mouth as if to speak, then closed it again. "I know what you're all thinking," Knapp said. "I'm supposed to pull some units out of our line to form a new reserve. Am I right?" "That's the doctrine, yes," said Sebastian. "I know I'm breaking a rule," said Knapp, "but in all the famous campaigns I've studied, half of them were won by a general who broke rules, knowing the risk he was taking by breaking them. The 2nd Armored know we're in combat. We can count on them to be prompt." Knapp's large brown eyes burned with anticipation. "Comrades, if all goes well, we'll win one of the great encirclement battles of history." And that is the end of that. Now, I deliberately made it short because I have a place I need to be at 2 o'clock. Interestingly enough, it's also a writers' meeting, but it's on the north side of Raleigh. So, if our guest has any questions, she can ask them now.
I didn't have any questions, and I'm sorry I came in late. It's hard for me to transition to walking through other people.
Yeah, I know.
But
Well, we can wrap it up if you want.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and wrap it up then. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service.
All right.
And some of my friends on Facebook told me they were glad to be able to see me and hear my voice
Awesome.
last year, so they have another chance to see me and hear it. This book, by the way, is not available yet. I'm not through writing it. What you're listening to is a work in progress.
Cool.
The first novel is Discarded Faces. I had a few free copies set out there on the swag table on Friday. They are now gone. But its sequel is sitting in the editor's notebook, as I said earlier, and the third one is the one I'm working on right now, and what you just heard is from the third one.
All right. Thank you.
So, with no further ado, I will pack my bags and go.
Well, thank you.